Please subscribe to this channel for more videos related to Catholic Christian teaching. Life is the being of the living, that is, a substance with the ability to self-movements. Life actuation, that is, self-movement, self-actuation. The spiritual functions of knowing and willing are the most perfect form of self-actuation. These are found in all fullness in God. Consequently, God possesses life in all fullness. As God is His own being and His own understanding, He is thus His own life. The First Vatican Council calls God the living God. Sacred Scripture frequently speaks of the living God and of the life of God. God confirms these affirmations. As surely as I live, the people of Israel swear, as surely as the Lord lives. Jesus calls Himself the life. I am the way, the truth, and the life. St. Augustine bases the perfection of the divine life on the identity of this with the absolute divine being. In Him is the first and highest life. For Him, life and being are not two different things, but being and life is one and the same. As God is the origin of creation for creatures, so He is also the origin of life for them. For with you is the fountain of life. He Himself gives to all mortals life and breath and all things. God's knowledge is infinite. God's knowledge is purely and simply actual. God's knowledge is subsistent. God's knowledge is comprehensive. God's knowledge is independent of extra-divine beings. The First Vatican Council says of God that in His power of cognition, He is infinite. Sacred Scripture designates God as the God of knowledge and declares that His wisdom is without measure. Speculatively, the infinity of the divine knowledge may be based on the reality of created intelligence, on the order and finality of the world, and on the absolute immateriality of God. According to the relationship of cause and effect, this supreme created perfection must be contained in God as its origin and indeed in an infinite manner. The order and finality of the world, which postulates a creator and director of the highest intelligence. The immateriality of God is the foundation of knowing, and the degree of the power of cognition is determined by the degree of immateriality. Since God is at the summit of immateriality, it follows that he is the summit of knowledge. As God is pure act, there is in his knowing no transitions from potency to act, no habit, no disposition, no succession, and no progress from the known to the unknown. God's knowing is neither potential nor habitual, neither successive nor discursive. God knows all in one single indivisible act. God does not only possess an activity of knowledge, but is himself knowledge. His knowing is, in consequence of his absolute simplicity, really identical with his essence. God is his own understanding. From the infinity of his power of knowing, it follows that God completely encompasses his infinite knowledge and thereby comprehends himself. God's power of self-comprehension is as great as his reality in being. Therefore, it is obvious that he comprehends himself as far as he is comprehensible. Therefore, he comprehends himself perfectly. Sacred Scripture bears witness to the comprehensive character of the divine knowledge. The Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God. The divine intellect is not caused to know from without, but from within through his own essence. Extra divine things are not the cause, but only the end of divine knowledge. Further, God does not know extra divine things through intelligible species, imprinted from without. For an intellect which knows by means of a species distinct from itself stands in the same relation to this as does potency to act. God, however, is pure act. In God, the intellect, understanding, and the thing understood are the same reality, and the intelligible species and the act of understanding itself are entirely one and the same. God knows extra divine things in his own essence, as he is the exemplary cause and the efficient cause for real things, and the causa exemplaris for possible things. While exhaustively knowing his creative causality, he also knows therein all the operations which flow or which can flow from this, and indeed, just as comprehensively as he knows himself. God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. Please go to YouTube Retirement channel, playlist Dogma on God for the complete series of these materials.